Welcome to the final part of Metroid Prime, folks. Specifically, my second fucking attempt at recording the final part of Metroid Prime, because yeah, I mentioned it when I during a when I revisited Compound the other day. Yeah, the previous recording screwed up, and the very final part of the final boss didn't actually record properly, so I had to go and play through the entire game all over again and get back up to this point in order to finally... Oh god, whatever, I don't want to think about it. Let's just go. We're finally inside the impact crater, and there's something at the end of it that I really, really want to kill. Me days, yeah. I'm going to be a bit more cautious with how I record footage. Yeah, let's there we go. Love me, you little shit. Not in the mood. There we go. It should also be noted as well that because at the very end of the game, the game tallies like how long it took you to complete it. Yeah, that timer is not actually going to be accurate. Yeah, at the end of this part, I think it's going to show up as being just a hair over 6 hours. In reality, it was like just over 7, because I got through up to this point a little bit faster than I did last time. There we go. God damn it. So I tell you what, while we work our way to the end of this area and up to the final boss, why don't we actually do something that I've been avoiding this entire time, shall we? Let's talk about the lore of Metroid Prime, because yeah, this giant meteor that we're basically in, yeah, like the impact crater is the inside of a giant meteor. And you notice it kind of looks almost like organic on the insides. Like, you got these things that kind of look like giant teeth. There's veins and like pockets of what looks like flesh around the place. That's because this giant meteor is something called a Leviathan. Oh god damn it! Yeah, and a Leviathan is actually basically a giant sentient creature that originates from a planet made up entirely of Phazon called Phase. Yeah, I know, really original. And, yeah, because of this is the reason why Phazon has become so abundant across Talon IV, because this creature crashed into the side of the building? Yes, the side of the building, Talon IV. The side of the planet. And that is what's causing the Phazon to start infecting into the environment. There we go, get my missiles replenished. I'm going to be needing those. But it isn't just a simple matter of going inside and destroying the meteor, and like, which will stop the infection, but it's not that simple. We first need to track down and destroy the Guardian that is protecting. Oh god, fucking. Yeah, we need to hunt down and kill the Guardian that's protecting this Leviathan, and that Guardian is the final boss of the game. You encounter one at the end of Metroid Prime 2, and in Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, you encounter about, like, 3 of them. There are, like, yeah, I think there are, I think in total there's 5 planets in Metroid Prime 3. Oh, wait, maybe it is. But like you investigate, but you actually actively explore like only 3 of them, like actively over the course of the game. One of them appears at the very beginning, and you don't get to revisit it afterwards. And then, you know what? Fuck it. There we But yeah, you visit one of them, like, at the very beginning of the game, and you visit one of them, phase, at the very end of the game, and then the other three you explore over the course of the entire adventure. Oh, and also another thing as well to note as well, this orange phase-on that's here on the ground, don't step in it because the phase-on suit is not immune to orange phase-on. Only the blue stuff. Yep. Oh, god damn it. Yeah, so don't do that unless you're like a speedrun, because that is a lot faster than using the rails. Now think about it. But yeah, and here it is. The guardian of this Leviathan, and the final boss of Metroid Prime. It's Metroid Prime!
Oh, that's why they call it that.
Yeah, who'd have thought? Yeah, no, Metroid Prime is literally just the name of the literally the name of the final boss of this game. It's a giant Metroid that was heavily mutated by Phase-On. Yeah, like the Leviathan crashed on top of the poor fucker and just absolute, like, just shit, man, the games. Before I forget, let's give you a quick scan. Yeah, Metroid Prime, highly evolved Phase-On producing life form. The aberration known as Metroid Prime is the source of Phase-On, making it immensely powerful. A genetic form makes this susceptible to certain weapons for brief periods. And yeah, you notice as well, it took the it didn't take very long to scan Metroid Prime at all. Like, it was literally instantaneous. That's because this is technically New Game Plus. So anything that I've already scanned remains scanned. There we go. But yeah, indeed, through each individual phase, Metroid Prime will change colours, and the colour that it changes to is indicative of what beam it will be vulnerable to. So yeah, yellow is Power Beam, purple is Wave Beam, white is Ice Beam, and red is Plasma Beam. And yeah, one of the few times I'm going to get use out of the missile power-ups as well. Oh, fucking hell. And yeah, he starts charging from side to side inside your battleground as well from this point onward. So here's a good Wave Buster here. If you do start to run low on missiles, Metroid Prime does start shooting these energy balls at you, and you can get missile pickups from those. There we are. Oh god. Hang on. Yeah, he's got this light tractor beam as well. Thankfully, if you use the boost ball, you can boost out of it. Although an interesting fact that I learned fairly recently. Oh shit. There we are. Apparently that actually, apparently like the way that you escape from that tractor beam attack of his is actually differs between the PAL and the NTSC version. I think in the NTSC version, the American release basically, you can just shoot him to escape, but in the PAL release, you can't. You have to use the boost ball. Which is certainly interesting. There we go. Yeah, oh sorry, but even the flamethrower isn't particularly handy during this fight. I mean, you can certainly use it, and it does do a decent amount of damage, but so does the charged plasma beam. Fuck. And then we started to switch up the attacks, so... He's using ice attacks while in power beam mode. Crafty bastard. Wave Buster by Arch. Boom. Lovely. Alright, final phase of the first phase. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the final boss of these games isn't really all that challenging. Yeah, let's just hit with a flamethrower for all time's sake. Because it does actually work quite well on him. Does a decent amount of damage. Shit, miss up one of those missiles. There we go. Oh, you bastard! Cheeky little twerp. Oh, and he's also changed vulnerabilities as well. Now I'll get some more missiles at least. Also, yeah, like, the missile pickups that he's dropping at the moment are ones that I didn't encounter during the main Let's Play. They actually do drop 10 missiles as opposed to just 5 or 3. And yeah, I didn't actually find those for the first time until now, so those have also already been scanned. God, you're changing really quickly. There we are, just hit with the Wave Buster. And cool. Super missiles. Oh, you fucked in my fucking missiles. There we go, got him. And phase 1 is kaput. But he's not done yet. Better head down there and finish the job. Because what we could destroy was just the outer shell. It's now time to face the core essence of Metroid Prime. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not really much to shake a stick at, to be honest. Metroid Prime, the core essence of Metroid Prime, and the final boss of Metroid Prime. Scan indicates that the phase-on energy from Metroid Prime, the core essence of Metroid Prime, is the final boss of the video game Metroid Prime, is invulnerable to all conventional weapons. Any attacks from a phase-on fused arm cannon will damage it. Yes, so this is also where we basically get our 5th and final beam weapon in the game. Just got those missiles and health. There's a bit more health over there as well. Grab those. There we go, just top myself off a little bit. There we go. So Metroid Prime is going to, lay down a pool of phase on there, and is then going to turn invisible. You have to change your visor to find out where he is, and then you can step on the phase on, and that will activate hyper mode, and you can lay into Metroid Prime with your final beam weapon, the hyper beam. But yeah, it's kind of cleverly designed as well. That, the very first phase of the game, of the boss fight, uses all of your different beam weapons, and this one uses all of your different visors. Because he's about to turn invisible again, and now we have to use the we now have to use the thermal visor to see him. and in turn he'll end up turning you know, invisible again, and we'll have to use the standard visor because he'll be immune to X-ray and thermal. If only the rest of the boss fights was as cleverly designed, because unfortunately this is basically it. He does a shockwave attack, he'll roar at you every now and then, swift shift positions. And yeah, the shockwave attack is his only move. It's genuinely, you're just playing the waiting game until he calls forth that pool of Phazon, maybe with a few Metroids as well, just to keep things interesting. Nothing a power bomb can't handle. There we go. I do really like the way the Hyper Beam works though. And yeah, you just wash, rinse and repeat until he's dead. And yeah, and this can last for a while because it's totally up to him whether or not he shits out that Phazon or not. So yeah, just sort of waiting here, doing some jumping, waiting to do some shooting. There we go, Phazon. Yeah, shift to, yeah, well, I'll probably lay down power bomb those two ourselves. Then, there we go. Alright, well, I'll tell you one thing that is a bit of a blessing in disguise, going back and replaying through this final boss fight again. I get to talk about the Switch too.
It's been the same old story.
Yay! We're getting the Switch 2 has been announced, and it looks actually pretty decent. There you are. But yeah, it's a little bit bigger. It's going to have a little bit more power. I've heard through the grapevine that it's going to have similar kind of power to the original PlayStation 4 or Xbox One consoles, which is good because those were pretty. You know, in terms of like raw power, those consoles are still pretty decent. Yeah. And given that Nintendo games have always had like a slightly simpler, like have always had slightly simpler art direction, I think that kind of power for like for things like Mario, like the Zelda, and even Metroid games are going to make for some absolutely banging looking titles. I mean, to me, we kind of already know about one of the first Switch 2 games already, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which is almost certainly going to release on that console. Like, it's going to be available on the standard Switch as well, I'm sure, but it is going. But yeah, needless to say, yeah, that is going to be one of the games that they used to push the Super Switch, which is really what it should have been called, to be honest. There we go, that's better. Alright, X-ray? Yeah, X-ray. It always rotates. I've also heard that the Joy-Cons are going to be magnetized as well, in two ways. Like, they attach to the side of the console using magnets, which hopefully should be nice and secure as long as the magnets don't wear out really quickly, which if they're good quality ones, they shouldn't do. But also that the joysticks will also be magnetized as well, and they'll also be interchangeable just in case they do break down. Because I know that joystick drift was always a bigger issue with the Nintendo Switch. I thankfully never had issues with joystick drift, but I do know that was a common fault. So if if the joysticks themselves are interchangeable, that means you'll be able to replace it without breaking the bank on a whole set of new controllers. Especially if you've got like nice designer ones that are themed after your favourite games. I'm not going to lie, I do have one concern, which is that whether or not it's going to basically go the way of the Wii U, in that it's not going to sell great because like the average consumer is going to look at it and think, oh, but we've already got Nintendo Switch at home. We don't need this new one, and as a result, it doesn't sell great. But there we go. We finally got him. But I don't think it's going to be as bad as the Wii U because, like, yeah, at the very least, yeah, it shouldn't like scare off developers that it's bad. I wish I had more time to talk about Switch 2 hype, but we'll have to worry about that in, I guess, in the next game we cover. Because right now we've got to get the fuck out of here before this bastard eats me. No, get off my groin! Bad touch! Stranger danger! Whew, that was close. Lost my phase on suit, but beggars can't be choosers. Crater collapse imminent. Evacuate immediately. Yeah, thankfully we've already tackled our evacuation sequence for this game right at the very beginning, so we don't need to worry. This is just a cutscene. Yeah. And yeah, we haven't blown up the entire planet, but the impact crater has now been destroyed, along with Leviathan and Metroid Prime. Talon IV is finally at peace. And since we got 75% of the items, we get to see Samus with her helmet off. And I'm not gonna lie, this might actually be my favourite look on for Samus. It looks like she looks like an actual person that you would meet at like Sainsbury's. Whereas in Metroid Prime 2, she looks a bit...
Oh my god! What's wrong with your face?
Yeah. Yeah, and Prime 3 is probably like the second best, but that's like the one that's the look that she has, yeah, like throughout like the rest of most of the other games as well. Like particularly in Smash Brothers, it's a Smash Brothers look. But yeah, no. So that was Metroid Prime, folks. An absolute banger of a first-person shooter in my considered opinion. And yes, it is a first-person shooter. I know it's a lot. Yeah, I know that there's like a lot of exploration. There's a lot of like investigating your surroundings and backtracking. Blah blah blah. It's still in first person, and you still shoot things. It's a first person. Yeah, let's not be embarrassed by that. You know, like games like Halo, Call of Duty. I know that they've kind of, yeah, they've tarnished that the name of the genre in their own ways. You know, but no, this is a first person shooter. Yeah, we should be. Yeah, we should at the very least acknowledge it as such. But yeah, no, this is an absolute banger of a video game. It is a bit of a shame that the the final parts of the game can be a bit of a slog when you're like basically trudging through past areas to try and find all of the leftover Chozo artifacts. As well, yeah, which unfortunately is even worse in Metroid Prime 2 with those Sky Temple keys, because there are a lot of them, and the final boss area has their own set that you need to find. And yeah, I think the final boss itself is also you spend a lot of the time playing the waiting game with it. Other than that, however, the rest of the experience is just so taut and is absolute top-notch. It controls great, it looks fantastic, it's one of the best looking games on the GameCube, and by extension on the Nintendo Wii as well. The Wii version, like the pointer controls are really precise and feel really good to use. Yeah, it's incredibly well paced. It's really satisfying to like find upgrades. But yeah, it's not just a great. I'll give you this at the very least. It's not just a great first-person shooter. It's also a great search action game. It can be both. It's Metroid Prime. It can be whatever the hell it wants to be. Ooh, Thomas Herzog. Yeah, say hello to. Say hello to Werner for me. But yeah, no, I cannot recommend this game, enough as it's already, I'm sure you're already aware of just how well known and how beloved this game is, and I myself cannot help but also give it glowing recommendations. It's on the GameCube, it's on the Nintendo Wii, if you can track down a cheap copy of the trilogy version. It was on the Wii U digitally, which is how I own it, but that storefront is shut down now, so yeah, unfortunately you can't get it on the Wii U anymore. And of course the remaster is now available on the Nintendo Switch. So yeah, by all means, keep your eyes open for a copy on whichever platform you favour. And yeah, give it a look in, because it is an absolute corker of a game. Highly recommended. But yeah, now that that adventure is concluded, the next time we move on to the Metroid series, we are of course going to be covering Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, which, although I shit-talked it like about less than 5 minutes ago with the Sky Temple keys, I actually have a really soft spot for Metroid Prime 2. Yeah, like that is another game that I really enjoy. But it's also like a game that has quite harsh critics, it has to be said, for fairly specific reasons. But we'll get into that when I eventually cover that game at a later date. As for our next game, we're going to be sticking with our Nintendo theme. We're going to be sticking with our space theme, honestly. But unlike, you know, games like Halo, Doom, or Metroid, where we're like blasting things to smithereens throughout the vacuum of space, this one is going to be a little closer to home and a slightly smaller. What am I talking about? A way fucking smaller scale. We're talking like less than an inch tall. Because the next game that we're covering for this channel is going to be Pikmin, the very first Pikmin, and we are also going to be covering that we're going to be covering the Wii version of that game as well, which thankfully I own a physical copy of that, so I don't need to worry about breaking the bank for that one, or like having a time machine to go back to like getting the game digitally on the Wii U either. But yeah, no, that's a game that I'm looking forward to covering soon. So yeah, next time we meet up, we are going to be making a start on Pikmin. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the Metroid Prime playthrough as much as I did, and I'll see you guys next time for Pikmin. TTFN.